I want to bring up you hit me with a really bad word, which is taxes. That hurt. But I'm going to throw in one more at you that everyone seems to be aware of and afraid of, and it's inflation. I think that a lot of people complain about it that shouldn't. I've done videos on that. Stop complaining about inflation, especially if you have a large asset base, you're going to be fine. But for the 60% of Americans that have $400 in their checking account total, and that's all they have, they're getting hit hard. Or the majority of senior citizens that only have $10,000 to their name, these are the people that are getting hit hard by inflation. The rest of us, it's a moment in time. But with that being said, let's talk about your view on annuities and that I word, inflation.
Yeah, and I'd like to address it from two standpoints. One, the people that pay you the annuity, the insurance companies, how does this affect them? And two, at the consumer level, and I actually want to throw an idea at you and see what you think about it.
Sure, absolutely.
So at the insurance company, really, I just was recently asked by a reporter about that. In my mind, inflation, not crazy inflation, but the kind of inflation we have right now, actually is some ways more of a tailwind than it is a headwind for insurance companies. Because insurance companies are really good investors in bonds.
Yep.
And the fact is, as interest rates go up and as we see the rate be higher on bonds, that actually takes the insurance companies a little bit out of a hole and gives them more to work with. Second, that means that they can frankly be more competitive as compared to other investments, because the fact is, and you may have seen, there was a Canuck study that I think just came out last week or week before,
right,
that these insurance companies are paying something like 11% higher single premium immediate annuity payments now, simply because they're getting more return on their investments. So now, uncontrolled inflation is a horrible thing, and I'm not saying it's going to, if we just had this forever, it's a problem. But right now, the inflation is really kind of helping the insurance companies dig out of the hole a little bit. So do you agree with that from that standpoint?
I do. And it also reiterates what I always say is annuities are commodity products, regardless of type. And you have to shop for the highest contractual guarantees. As these companies reach capacity, as volume comes in, they'll lower those guarantees to adjust for that. Looking at the Fed, and everyone tries to watch the Fed and time the Fed. I always tell people with annuities, it's kind of a fool's game, because it has, yes, they do watch Chairman Powell at the time of this taping, who's the chairman of the Fed, but they're not fixated on him. They're fixated primarily on the tranche they're trying to fill, the dollar amount they're trying to raise, and their capacity. And if they reach it, they'll lower the guarantees regardless of what Chairman Powell's doing. In fact, at the time of this taping, we're previous to a red Fed rate hike, and the trend is companies are lowering their rates and guarantees just because the money's coming in so fast. It's hard for them to even process it.
Hey, Stan the Annuity Man here. Did you like that little taste of my podcast, Fun with Annuities? Hey, if you want to see the full version, click the link and watch the whole darn thing. Remember, Fun with Annuities. Live in the reality, not the dream.